with your first question about building lasting professional relationships, and I'll do my best to give you a clear, thoughtful answer.
Hello everyone. Now today we shall ask some questions from ChatGPT. We shall have a very beautiful conversation with ChatGPT, and our topic is the secret to building lasting habits. Now ChatGPT, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm really looking forward to our conversation. Go ahead and ask your first question about building lasting habits, and we'll explore it together.
No, my first question is what are lasting habits and how do they differ from short-term routines?
That's a great question. Lasting habits are behaviors that become automatic over time. They're integrated into your identity and long term lifestyle. In contrast, short term routines are temporary. They might be scheduled or goal driven, but don't necessarily stick once the goal is achieved. Lasting habits, on the other hand, help shape who we are and how we live every day.
Why is consistency crucial in forming lasting habits?
Consistency is crucial because it helps reinforce the behavior until it becomes second nature. When we do something regularly, even in small doses, we strengthen the neural pathways in our brain. Over time, this reduces the need for conscious effort, making the habit a natural step of your routine, which is key to it lasting long term.
And what small actions can lead to big changes over time?
Small actions like setting a daily reminder, doing just 5 minutes of a new habit each day, or breaking big goals into tiny steps all add up. For instance, if you want to build a reading habit, just starting with a page a day can over time become a regular, powerful routine. It's those small, steady actions that compound into big, lasting changes.
How does identifying a clear why help sustain a habit?
Identifying a clear why gives you a deeper sense of purpose. When you understand why a habit matters to you, whether it's improving your health, boosting your career, or aligning with your values, it's easier to stay motivated even when challenges come up. That sense of meaning keeps you going long after the novelty wears off.
And what is the role of environment in reinforcing positive habits?
Your environment plays a huge role because it either supports or challenges your habits. If your space is set up with cues, like a gym bag by the door or a notebook on your desk, it makes it easier to stick to positive behaviors. On the other hand, a cluttered or distracting environment can derail your efforts. So, shaping your surroundings is a powerful tool in reinforcing good habits.
And how can setting specific goals help in habit formation?
Setting specific goals helps by giving you a clear target to work toward, which makes your progress measurable. Instead of a vague intention like exercise more, a specific goal like walk 30 minutes every morning gives you a concrete action. These clear, defined goals keep you accountable and make it easier to track success, which reinforces the habit over time.
Why do people often rely too much on willpower and how can they avoid burnout?
People often rely too much on willpower because it feels like a quick fix. But willpower is like a muscle, it gets exhausted. To avoid burnout, it's better to build habits in small, sustainable steps, rely on cues and routines, and give yourself flexibility. That way, you're not constantly fighting your internal resistance, but rather building an environment that supports you.
What is a what is cue routine reward loop in habit building?
The cue routine reward loop is a 3 step process that explains how habits form. First, a cue is a trigger, something that prompts you to act. Then, the routine is the behavior or action you take in response to that cue. Finally, the reward is the positive outcome you get, which reinforces the habit. Over time, this loop strengthens, making the behavior more automatic.
How can you break a bad habit by replacing it with a new one?
To break a bad habit by replacing it, first identify the cue that triggers the old habit. Then choose a new positive behavior that you can do in its place, something that still satisfies the same need. Practice it consistently so that the new routine forms a stronger association with the cue, and soon the new habit will replace the old one naturally.
And why is it important to celebrate small wins along the way?
Celebrating small wins is important because it keeps you motivated and reinforces your progress. When you acknowledge even tiny achievements, it boosts your confidence and creates a positive feedback loop. This makes it easier to keep going even when things get tough, because you can see how far you've come.
And how does habit stacking work? And how can it be used to build new habits?
Habit stacking works by linking a new habit to an existing one. So you anchor the new behavior to something you already do regularly. For example, if you already have a habit of making coffee every morning, you can stack a new habit like journaling right after. By consistently doing them in that order, the new habit starts to feel automatic as part of the routine.
And what are the dangers of trying to change too many habits at once?
The main danger is that it can be overwhelming, which leads to burnout or giving up altogether. When you spread yourself too thin, it's harder to maintain focus or see progress. Instead, it's better to tackle one habit at a time or focus on small, manageable adjustments so you can build the momentum and confidence gradually.
How can you adjust your habits when life circumstances change?
When life circumstances change, it's important to stay flexible and reassess your priorities. If a habit no longer fits your current situation, adapt it. Maybe shorten it, change its timing, or substitute another habit that aligns better. By staying mindful and adjusting along the way, you ensure your habits still serve you, even through big changes.
How can you use visual reminders or cues to reinforce habits?
Visual reminders work by keeping your habit top of mind. You can place cues where you'll see them daily, like a sticky note on your mirror, a progress chart on your desk, or a visual timer on your phone. By associating your habit with a regular visual cue, you prompt yourself to take action automatically, making the habit easier to remember and stick to.
How does sleep and rest affect habit formation?
Sleep and rest are really important because they give your brain time to consolidate learning and regulate emotions. When you're well rested, you have better focus, self control, and motivation, all of which make it easier to stick to new habits. Without enough sleep, your willpower dips and it's harder to stay on track. So, rest is a key part of habit success.
What daily or weekly routines can support the habit building process?
Daily or weekly routines that support habit building include things like setting a consistent time each day for your habit, like a morning walk or evening journaling. Weekly, you can do a review, reflecting on your progress, or schedule set times for planning. These routines create structure, so your habit has a dedicated place in your life, making it easier to sustain.
And how can we overcome setbacks or slip ups without giving up?
The key is to be kind to yourself and avoid all or nothing thinking. When you have a setback, acknowledge it without judgment and get back on track as soon as possible. Focus on small steps, remind yourself of your why, and treat slip ups as temporary detours, not failures. Consistency over time is what really matters.
And what is the connection between mindfulness and building lasting habits?
Mindfulness helps because it keeps you aware of your thoughts, feelings, and triggers in the moment. When you're mindful, you notice patterns, so you can choose your actions intentionally instead of acting on autopilot. This awareness makes building habits more deliberate, helping you stay connected to your progress and your motivation.
Okay, and how can we make our habits enjoyable to keep us sustainable?
You can make habits enjoyable by adding elements you look forward to, like pairing a new habit with something fun, listening to music, or rewarding yourself afterward. You can also connect the habit to something you already enjoy or see progress visually so it feels satisfying. When the habit brings a little joy or aligns with something you love, it's much easier to sustain.
And what tools or apps can help us track and maintain new habits?
There are lots of great tools. Apps like Habitica make habit building fun by adding gamification, while others like Streaks or Habit Bull let you track daily progress and set reminders. Even simple tools like a planner or a spreadsheet can help. The important thing is choosing something you'll check regularly and that fits into your routine.
Thank you, ChatGPT, for your time. It was a good session. I really enjoyed your answers, and the session was very uh, good for the audience as well. I thanks to audience as well for their time to listen to this conversation.